All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to talk about the surprising and, let's be honest, often unconscious science behind who we find attractive. And trust me, it's probably not what you think.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever had that experience where that one quality you found just so charming about your partner at the beginning has somehow morphed into the single most irritating thing about them now? It's a really common thing, and it's actually at the very core of what we're going to unpack today. I mean, think about that switch, right? In the beginning, you love that he's so funny and spontaneous. You could laugh for hours. But then, a few years down the line, can he ever take anything seriously? Or, that person who felt so wonderfully calm and stable, now they just seem, well, kind of boring and passive. This isn't a random accident. It's actually a feature, not a bug, of how attraction really works. See, most of us believe we're making a totally rational choice when we pick a partner. We've got our conscious checklists, right? The pedigree, as some researchers call it. We're looking for someone who checks all the boxes. Looks, social status, a good job, and fits that whole Disney concept of romance we grew up with. It feels like a very logical, conscious process, doesn't it? But here's where it gets really interesting. What if all of that conscious stuff, the checklists, the pros and cons, what if that's all just noise on the surface? What if the real choice is being made by a much deeper, hidden agenda that you don't even know is there? Well, this hidden agenda actually has a name. It's called the imago. It comes from the Latin word for image, and that's basically what it is, an unconscious blueprint, a composite image we created way back in childhood. It's a picture of the kind of love we experience from our parents or caregivers, and it's this blueprint that secretly guides who we fall for as adults. Harville Hendrix, who's one of the founders of imago theory, said it perfectly. We are born in a relationship, we are wounded in a relationship, and we heal in a relationship. And that quote gets right to the heart of the why. You see, your brain isn't really searching for a fairy tale ending. It's looking for a chance to heal old wounds, right back in the same kind of setting where they were first created, a relationship. So here's the big aha moment. Your unconscious mind is not out there looking for the perfect partner, not at all. It's looking for a familiar partner, someone who can recreate the emotional environment of your childhood. And why on earth would it do that? So you can finally get a chance to deal with unfinished business and heal those old wounds. It's a quest to finally feel complete. So what is it that makes that powerful, unconscious click happen? Let's break down the three key ingredients that come together to create what's called an imago match. First up, there's the good. Your unconscious is constantly scanning the room for the positive traits of your caregivers, the things that made you feel safe and loved. So if your dad was incredibly funny or your mom was a fantastic listener, you're going to feel this almost magnetic pull toward partners who have those very same qualities. Okay, but here's the part that's a little harder to swallow, and it explains that whole charming to annoying thing. Your unconscious is also scanning for their negative traits. Yep, the very things that frustrated you, the ways they hurt you, the needs they didn't meet. It sounds completely counterintuitive, but your brain needs to recreate the full picture of your childhood wounds in order to finally get a shot at healing them. And the third piece of the puzzle is the lost. We are incredibly attracted to people who express the very parts of ourselves we had to shut down to fit in with our family. So, if you are always told to be logical and not so emotional, you will be powerfully drawn to someone who is deeply, openly in touch with their feelings. It's your unconscious trying to reconnect with that lost part of you to become whole again. So, when you put it all together, the good, the bad, and the lost, you get a perfect imago match. And this is exactly why conflict in a relationship isn't just likely, it's pretty much inevitable. You have, without even knowing it, chosen a person who is perfectly, almost surgically, designed to push all your buttons and trigger your deepest, oldest wounds from childhood. And here is a classic example of how this plays out. A lot of times, partners in an imago match actually have the same core wound, but they learn to cope with it in completely opposite ways. So let's say two people felt like their identity was kind of squashed as kids. One might grow up to be a maximizer, really rigid, defensive with a this is just who I am, take it or leave it attitude. The other becomes a minimizer, always accommodating, losing themselves to please others. You put those two together and you have the perfect recipe for conflict, but also for growth. But listen, this is the most important part. Seeing this pattern doesn't mean your relationship is broken or doomed. That conflict, that frustration, it isn't a sign that you picked the wrong person. It's actually a sign you picked the right one. The conflict is the curriculum. It's tailor-made for your mutual healing and growth.
So, what do we do with all this? How do we navigate it? Well, the goal is to shift from this unconscious struggle to a conscious partnership. It's all about bringing awareness to these hidden forces so you can start working with them instead of just being controlled by them.
And the path forward really boils down to a few key shifts in how you approach things. First, instead of getting defensive, get curious. When your partner triggers you, just pause and ask, okay, given everything I know about their story, why does it make perfect sense that they're acting this way? Second, start to own your reactions. Realize that your intense frustration is often a story from your past, not just the present moment. And third, practice real dialogue, where the goal isn't to win or be right, but to genuinely understand your partner's world.
So, we'll leave you with this question to really think about. What if you completely reframed your relationship challenges? What if every single one of your biggest frustrations with your partner isn't a problem that needs to be fixed, but is actually an invitation to heal a part of yourself you didn't even know was wounded? Thinking about it that way, well, that can change everything.